You call that a tip? The rich teen sneered, spitting on the waitress's hand, not realizing 10 Hell's Angels were sitting in the back booth, watching every second. The diner went dead silent. Plates clattered, forks froze, and even the jukebox skipped mid-song. The young waitress, maybe 19, just stood there, red-faced and trembling, wiping her hand with a napkin. "I'm sorry, sir," she whispered. "Your order was delayed because the grill." "Save it." The teen snapped, smirking at his friends. "People like you don't deserve to talk to me. You're lucky I even came here." His designer jacket gleamed under the cheap neon lights. His buddies laughed, pulling out their phones to record her humiliation. At the far end of the diner, 10 men sat quietly, their jackets marked with flaming skulls and silver wings. The Hells Angels. They'd stopped in for a midnight meal after a long ride, and now the air around them shifted. The biggest one, a mountain of muscle called Diesel, looked up from his burger. His jaw tightened. "He didn't just spit on her, did he?" "Nope," muttered Razor, cracking his knuckles. "Kids asking for an early funeral." But their leader, a calm, older biker named Stone, raised a hand. "Wait." His deep voice rolled like thunder. "Let's see what the girl does first." The waitress swallowed her pride, picked up the dirty napkin, and tried to smile. "It's okay," she said softly. "I'll clean it up." That made the teen laugh harder. "Clean it up? Maybe clean me up too, sweetheart," he said, tossing a few crumpled bills on the floor. His friends howled. "There's your tip." Something in the air snapped. Chairs scraped. A low growl rolled from the back of the diner. The laughter stopped when Diesel stood up. The floor almost shook under his boots. The teen turned, frowning. "What are you looking at, old man?" Diesel's voice was calm but heavy, each word slow and dangerous. "You got 10 seconds to apologize to her." The rich teen scoffed. "Or what? You'll cry on your bike." Stone stood next, his weathered face unreadable under the dim light. He tossed his napkin onto the table and walked forward, the kind of walk that made everyone move out of the way without being asked. "Son," he said quietly, "you just disrespected the wrong person in front of the wrong crowd." The teen tried to laugh, but it came out shaky. "You can't tell me what to do." Stone took another step closer, his shadow falling across the kid's sneakers. "You're right," he said softly. "But she can." He turned to the waitress. "What do you want us to do, sweetheart?" Her voice trembled. "Just let it go? Please." Stone nodded once, his eyes never leaving the boy. "You're lucky she's better than you." But then the door opened, and the teen's father, a local politician, stormed in, furious. "What's going on here?" he barked. Stone's eyes narrowed. "Oh, this just got interesting." The politician's voice ripped through the diner like a blade. "What did you do now?" he snapped at his son, pulling him by the arm. The teenager pointed at the waitress and the bikers, trying to sound brave, but shaking like a leaf. "Dad, these thugs are threatening me." The whole diner groaned. Even the ceiling fan seemed tired of his lies. Stone stepped forward, slow and steady, his leather jacket shifting like armor. "Nobody threatened your boy," he said calmly. "But he spit on this young lady, slapped her tip on the floor, and called her names I won't repeat." The father scoffed. "She's a waitress. It's her job to deal with customers." Razor almost flipped the table. "You better walk that sentence back." But Stone didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. Your son disrespected someone who works hard, someone who shows up, someone who didn't have daddy's wallet to buy her a life. The politician bristled. "You don't know who I am." Diesel leaned forward, towering over him. "We don't care who you are." The father swallowed hard, looking from one biker to the next. All 10 of them standing, silent, eyes locked on him like wolves deciding if the intruder was worth eating. The waitress, Emma, trembled. Please don't fight. I don't want trouble." Stone turned to her, his voice softening. "Sweetheart, you didn't start trouble. You just happened to be near it." The teen's arrogance returned now that Daddy was here. "Dad, arrest them. They're threatening us." His father smirked. "Oh, I will. I'll have the sheriff shut this dump down by morning." The entire diner gasped. The owner, Mrs. Hall, dropped the tray she was holding. "Please, sir, don't. This place is all I have." The politician sneered. "Should have trained your staff better." That was it. Stone's expression changed. Not anger, not rage, something colder. "Your boy didn't make a mistake," he said quietly. "He learned it from you." And just then, Diesel's phone buzzed. He looked at it and grinned. "Boss," he said to Stone, "you're gonna love this." Stone raised a brow. Well, Diesel flipped the screen around. Kid here posted himself spitting on the waitress. Live. Internet's tearing him apart already. The teen's face drained. What? Oh yes, Diesel said, amused. Millions of views. Comments too. Spoiled brat. Fire his dad. Cancel both. All that good stuff. The politician lunged toward Diesel's phone, but Stone stepped between them. Your son did this to himself. And you, Diesel added, did the rest. The father suddenly looked small. No power, no shield, no control. Just a man who raised a monster and finally saw him clearly. Emma stood there, wiping her eyes. Please, I don't want anyone hurt. Stone nodded. Then no one will be. He stepped closer to the teen. You spit on her. You insulted the owner. And you almost got your father fired by live streaming your stupidity. The teen's lip trembled. What do you want me to do? Stone pointed to the floor. Pick up the money. The boy bent down fast and grabbed the crumpled bills. Now, Stone said, give it to her the right way. The boy held out the money, whispering, I'm sorry. Stone tilted his head. Louder. I'm sorry. The whole diner exhaled. Emma accepted the money quietly, not because she needed it, but because this moment wasn't about humiliation. It was about respect that should have never been stolen. Stone turned to the politician. Your boy learned something today. Doesn't mean he's good, but he's better than he was an hour ago. The man swallowed, defeated. This won't happen again. Stone nodded. Make sure of it. The father guided his son toward the door, humiliated. The diner stayed silent until they left. Then the room erupted into relieved chatter. Emma looked at Stone, voice soft. Thank you, all of you. Stone smiled faintly. Sweetheart, don't thank us. You stood your ground without lifting a hand. That's real strength. He placed a 20 on the table. Diesel added a 50. The other bikers followed. Soon her apron was full of tips, not out of pity, but respect. When the angels walked out into the night, engines roaring, every customer inside knew one thing for sure. Being rich doesn't make you powerful, but standing up for someone who deserves better, that makes you unstoppable. The night air outside the diner was cool, quiet, and humming with the vibration of 10 idling Harley engines. The Hells Angels stood in a loose circle, leather jackets catching the streetlight, but none of them spoke. They were waiting, watching the door, until Emma finally stepped out, hugging her apron full of tips like she didn't know whether to cry or smile. Stone nodded to her gently. You okay, sweetheart? Emma brushed a tear from her cheek. I don't know how to thank you. Razor smirked. You don't. We didn't do it for thanks. Diesel leaned against his bike. Kid got what he deserved. Respect ain't optional. Emma looked down at the money in her hands. But all this, I can't take. Stone stepped forward. You will. His voice was firm, but warm. This isn't charity. This is a reminder. A reminder, she asked, confused. He smiled softly. That the world still has people who stand up when something's wrong, even when everyone else stays quiet. She swallowed hard, trying not to cry again. Nobody's ever stood up for me before. Stone exchanged a glance with the others. A silent understanding passed between them, as if they'd all felt that same loneliness at some point in their own lives. Raven, the only woman in the group, stepped forward, placing a leather bracelet around Emma's wrist. A small silver wing charm dangled from it. Emma blinked. What's this for? Raven's voice softened. For strength, and for knowing that you're not alone anymore. Emma stared at the bracelet, her voice barely a whisper. I don't deserve something this nice. Raven cupped her cheek gently. You deserve more kindness than the world has given you. Before Emma could speak, the screech of tires echoed down the road. The same politician's car, dented, dirty, speeding, flew past the diner and came to a sudden stop near the angels' bikes. Stone sighed. What now? But when the driver's door opened, it wasn't the father. It was the teen, eyes swollen, cheeks blotchy, shirt wrinkled and misbuttoned like he ran out the door before thinking. He held a bag in his shaking hands. He walked toward Emma, avoiding the biker's stares. I wanted to give you this. Diesel raised an eyebrow. If it's spit, kid, I swear. The boy quickly shook his head. No, it's what I owe. He handed her the bag. Inside was the designer jacket he'd been bragging about earlier, the one he flaunted like a trophy. Emma looked stunned. Why are you giving me this? He swallowed. Because you work. I just exist. I didn't earn anything I have. And I treated you like trash because I thought money meant I didn't have to respect people. Stone watched quietly, his eyes unreadable. The teen continued, voice trembling. You didn't deserve what I did. You didn't deserve any of it. He looked up at her, tears in his eyes. You're better than me. Emma stared at him, taken aback by the honesty. The boy stepped back, nodding awkwardly. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted to start over. He turned and walked back to the car, wiping his eyes. Razor whistled low. Well, damn, didn't see that coming. Stone nodded slightly. The kid learned something today. Emma held the jacket to her chest, overwhelmed. Why would he do this? Stone smiled. Because you handled cruelty with grace. That kind of strength changes people. Emma blinked away tears. I'm never going to forget tonight. Stone placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. Neither will we. One by one, the engines roared to life, lighting up the road with their glow. Stone mounted his bike last, looking at her from beneath the brim of his helmet. Keep the bracelet, he said. If anyone bothers you again, show them the wing, and they'll think twice. Emma smiled. A small, beautiful smile that looked like sunrise after a long storm. The angels rode off into the night, 10 shadows disappearing down the highway, leaving behind only the rumble of their engines and the memory of the moment justice stood up for kindness. If this story touched your heart, share it. Because kindness doesn't always wear a smile, and heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes, they walk in covered in dust, carrying stories that could change your heart forever.